Wonder Woman's Bracelets, Punishment for Woman's Lust. First things first, let's get the name right. Those mystical bracelets that Wonder Woman wears and every hardcore fan and haters call by Wonder Woman's Bracelets, there's actually a real name for them. How amazing is that? From the beginning, the bracelets were known as the Bracelets of Submission. The moment they let themselves devoured by the lust and turned their back on oaths and virtues they promised to uphold in front of their patron goddesses, they were cursed. The name defines how the bracelets affect Wonder Woman and other Amazons and symbolizes their punishment and curse. Since we got the name right, let me take you back to the days of old gods. In the lore of Wonder Woman, the Amazons were once the greatest nation on Earth. Their queen, Hippolyta and the Amazons, once resided in Amazonia in the days of ancient Greece, until they were beguiled and bested by the demigod Hercules, who had been inspired by the god of war Mars to go after Hippolyta. Knowing that it is an impossible task to deal with a large number of humongous, strengthened woman warriors, Hercules used trickery. He deceived Hippolyta by pretending that he had fallen for her and longed for her love. Mesmerized by the love of Hercules, Hippolyta gave herself to him and became one with him. While Hercules makes Hippolyta go nuts, his gang got into action. The whole coven of Amazons was drugged by the gang and were caged and chained. They were all enslaved for a long time after this. However, with time passed 4 out of 5 patron goddesses of Amazons, Artemis, Athena, Hestia, and Demeter, helped them out of their enslavement and take back their lands and possessions from their captors. But Amazons were not able to regain everything. Some things were lost from them forever and branded as impurified. The single goddess, Aphrodite, who was the main patron, was furious with them and refused to help them until the end. Also, even after they freed themselves from captors, it was pretty hard to win the favor of Goddess of Love, Aphrodite again, as to what they had done has clearly desecrated her blessings, which they've received at their beginnings. As a punishment, a curse, and as a reminder to the Amazons of the folly of submitting to men, they were ordered to wear those bracelets of submission by Aphrodite. Originally portrayed as being bronze in Wonder Woman number 52, published in March 1952, it was first mentioned that the bracelets were composed of Amazonium. The bracelets were useful as magically indestructible gauntlets. They could be used to deflect bullets, energy weapons, and any murderous weapons in man's world. But there was a hidden catch. Remember, I told you this was also a curse and punishment. If the bracelets were removed, it would literally drive an Amazon insane. They would be consumed by berserker, rage, making them stronger and more dangerous for a temporary time, but falling into darkness down the line. Also, it was revealed that in Sensation Comics number 4, Amazons temporarily lost their super strength if a male welded chains to their bracelets together. Their strength remained unaffected if they were chained by females, as Comics number 10. They would regain their strength if their bracelets were unchained. In later stories, Amazons lost their strength if males simply bound their wrists, rather than their bracelets, with chains or other forms of welding. This was evident also when Wonder Woman tells us, "My strength is gone. It is Aphrodite's law." When an Amazon girl permits a man to chain her bracelets of submission together, she becomes weak as other women in a man-ruled world. But when DC Comics came to the Silver Age, the origin of bracelets took a dramatic change, especially Wonder Woman's. Diana's silver bracelets were created from the remains of Zeus's Aegis, itself an impenetrable shield formed from the goat Amalthea, who wet nursed the infant Zeus, thus providing the energy from which Olympus sprung. Zeus's father Cronus splintered the shield, and Athena had Hephaestus forge the remains into a great prize to be awarded to the worthiest of all Amazons, their greatest worshippers. The bracelets are unbreakable, and Diana is swift enough to deflect bullets with them. Furthermore, when Diana crosses them to protect her from impact with large projectiles, as well as damage inflicted by explosions and collisions with hard surfaces, the bracelets generate a small energy field. Alright, since we dug up the roots of both Bracelets of Submission and Silver Gauntlets, let's turn to juicy stuff, eh? The powers they possess, the capabilities it has, and the laws it defies are all going to be laid out in front of you guys. So buckle up, guys. One of the biggest changes to her recent history has been the revelation that she's a demigoddess and has powers from her father Zeus. In 2009's Wonder Woman number 34, she learned that by clashing her bracelets together, she can summon lightning bolts straight from Olympus at her enemies and to discharge electricity from her gauntlets other times. Another power she's gained from her bracelets is the ability to create shockwaves by smashing them together. In 2005's Wonder Woman number 219, Maxwell Lord used his mind control powers to make Superman fight Wonder Woman, thinking she was his enemy Doomsday. During their fight, Wonder Woman slammed her bracelets together on his head, and the shockwaves were strong enough to burst Superman's eardrums. One thing almost anyone who knows anything about Wonder Woman knows is that her bracelets are bulletproof, and she uses them as shields to protect herself. But the truth is somewhat deeper. The bracelets are even able to deflect Omega beams, Darkseid's Omega effect, Superman, Batman number 13, and Heat Vision, Supergirl, Superman, Batman number 9. During the destruction of Olympus following an attack by Darkseid, the bracelets were shown to be durable enough to even withstand a blast from the destructive energies of the gods, which Diana had to direct. Also, we have seen that Wonder Woman uses a sword and sometimes a shield, also as an extension to her single-handed sword. Fact is, she can call her sword and shield straight out of her bracelets. 2010's Wonder Woman number 600 shows us that her bracelets have gained a new power, which was to brand her enemies. In the new design, her bracelet had a W stamped on them. When she hit someone with her bracelets, it would even leave the mark of a W on their skin. In Wonder Woman number 15, as a favor, Hephaestus altered the bracelets so she could magically create swords from them right into her hands. Now the bracelets can make any weapon she wants, including arrows, bows, and spears from thin air. When she's done with the weapons, they disappear in a flash. That sure beats keeping her sword on her belt or in her forearms. In modern stories, the bracelets don't keep her from going insane. They keep her from getting too strong. In recent times, her bracelets now hold back her awesome power. To see what happens when she takes them off, we can look at 2012's Wonder Woman number 12. In the story, Wonder Woman faced off against Artemis, the sister of Apollo. As she prepared to fight, Wonder Woman took off her bracelets. At first, Artemis mocked her, asking what she could do against a god without her bracelets to protect her. As Wonder Woman glowed with power, she revealed the cuffs weren't to protect her, but to protect Artemis, and proceeded to give the goddess a fight. Yes, Wonder Woman's bracelets aren't to protect her from anyone else, but to protect her enemies from her. Sometimes you might wonder, can such a feat be accomplished in real life? So did I. After going through a few articles, I caught up a very detailed, in-depth article written by Rhett Elaine on the topic of the physics of bullets versus Wonder Woman's bracelets. According to the analysis, he concluded that to deflect bullets from a heavy machine gun, Diana would need 0.043 seconds, 43 milliseconds reaction time, which is far quicker than an exceptionally skilled person with good visual reaction time, has which nearly 200 milliseconds. When considering the power she utilizes in order to deflect the bullets or cut through them is 76,000 watts. Whoa, that's about 100 horsepower, meaning even in such situations, her bracelets hold on. As a whole, These bracelets are truly God-given as to be capable of such feats. Yet even gods are not perfect or undefeatable, although it is very rare in occasion. Just like gods, Wonder Woman's bracelets are also not indestructible. Among the objects or weapons that have ever been able to broken Wonder Woman's bracelets have mostly been magical in nature. For instance, in 1983's Wonder Woman number 307, Wonder Woman fought Nico Aegis, a Greek terrorist who got a hold of weapons of the gods, including the daggers of Vulcan, which are invulnerable and were able to cut her magic lasso and shatter one of her bracelets. Apart from that, we have the sword god Killer. The Greek forge deity Hephaestus offered the lethal assassin Deathstroke a contract in the assassination of an old foe of Olympus named Lepistus, a Greek titan. As Deathstroke is immortal, he was granted the use of this god-killer sword, which enabled him to fight and kill immortal beings. That makes them more than a match for any conventional weapon. This sums up my gathered information and analysis on Wonder Woman's bracelets. What do you think of Wonder Woman's bracelets? Do you know any other object or weapon that can destroy Wonder Woman's cuffs? If so, let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.